guys, this is Ecotech. So let's dive into the Klipsch Reference Cinema System 5.1.4 with Dolby Atmos and the Onkyo TX RZ30 channel 8K AV receiver. This duo feels like the type of upgrade that instantly transforms your living room into something far closer to a dedicated cinema room, without needing to rip apart walls or commit to massive installs. And Klipsch brings that classic design language. Clean lines, copper accents, compact but confident form factor, paired with the raw horsepower of Onkyo's flagship RZ series receiver. Right out of the box, the Klipsch satellites look deceptively small. But that is exactly the point. These speakers are compact, refined, and built to disappear visually while doing the exact opposite sonically. You get 4 satellite speakers, all featuring built-in Dolby Atmos technology. That means you're not just getting forward-firing audio. You're getting sound that reflects upward, creating overhead dimensionality without having to mount speakers in the ceiling. It's the kind of trick that just feels like magic when it works. And here, it works beautifully. And the reason it works so well is Klipsch's signature Tractrix horn technology. If you've heard anything from the Klipsch reference line, you already know the sound profile. Clean, sharp, dynamic. These horns deliver a high-end response that slices through the mix with clarity while maintaining incredible imaging. Every little detail, glass breaking, footsteps behind you, that low-key ambience in sci-fi scenes, comes through more distinctly. The horns also help with efficiency, and paired with the aluminum tweeters featuring linear travel suspension, distortion is kept to a minimum even at higher volumes. That's a huge part of why Klipsch speakers always feel alive, even at lower listening levels. They sound energetic without sounding forced. Moving to the low end, the system ships with a 10-inch subwoofer that is honestly a beast for its class. Klipsch rates it as best in class, and listening to it makes it obvious why. The bass is deep, tight, and cinematic, with none of that muddy resonance you sometimes get in budget subs. Explosions feel like explosions. Thunder feels like thunder. And if you're watching something atmospheric, like a thriller or a mystery, the low-frequency rumble actually adds that physical tension you can feel in your chest. The injection-molded graphite woofers continue this theme across the satellites. Lightweight, rigid, and extremely responsive. They give punch without losing definition. The dual-port design on the speakers helps with tuning as well, making the overall frequency range feel fuller and more satisfying. Now, all of this comes together only when you have the right receiver to process and push the sound the way it was intended. And that's where the Onkyo TX RZ30 arrives to flex. This is a 170 watt per channel, 9.2 channel, 8K ready AV receiver that is built for exactly this kind of home theater setup. Onkyo's RZ series has always been about reference-grade sound, and the TX RZ30 is one of their most powerful and future-proof models. Whether you're pushing a full 5.1.4 Atmos system or expanding to 7.2.2 later, the RZ30 has headroom to spare. The calibration is clean, fast, and accurate thanks to Onkyo's premium room correction system, and the receiver stays incredibly stable even under heavy load. The connectivity is future-ready. Full 8K pass-through, 4K/120 support, HDMI 2.1 ports, eARC, VRR for gaming, and a smooth, intuitive interface that feels modern compared to some other AV receivers that still look stuck in the early 2010s. With the RZ30, you're not just getting power. You're getting control. You're getting detail. You're getting the ability to fine-tune exactly how your room sounds, whether you want a perfectly balanced cinematic mix or a more aggressive, punchy profile for action movies. Now, when you fire up the whole system together, the difference is immediate. Dolby Atmos is one of those technologies you can talk about forever, but the real magic is in the experience. With the Klipsch Reference Cinema 5.1.4 setup, objects in the sound field genuinely feel like they move around you. Aircraft soaring overhead actually sound like they're above you. Raindrops feel like they're hitting from all angles. Dialogue sits precisely in the center without getting drowned out by bass-heavy scenes. Everything simply snaps into place. And when it comes to music, especially high-resolution tracks, the system's speed and clarity really stand out. The tweeters provide sharp articulation, and the Tractrix horn keeps everything coherent and energetic. The subwoofer adds body without overpowering vocals or instruments. Gaming is also next level here, especially modern titles that support spatial audio. Gunshots, footsteps, ambient detail. It becomes easier to pinpoint directional cues, making the experience not just more immersive but also more competitive. Design-wise, the Klipsch speakers look clean, minimal, and premium. The matte black finish blends into most interiors, and the copper accents give it that signature Klipsch identity without shouting for attention. They may be compact, but they're engineered for real performance. The Onkyo receiver complements it with a more industrial, functional design. Clean front panel, bright display, and tactile buttons that feel sturdy. As a bundle, this system just makes sense. The Klipsch speakers give you cinematic punch. The Onkyo receiver gives you power and precision. Together, they create a home theater experience that is immersive, multidimensional, detailed, and just fun to use. You connect it, calibrate it, and from the first movie or song you play, you instantly feel the upgrade. It's one of those setups where you sit back and think, yeah, this is how movies are supposed to sound. If you're building a new home theater from scratch, or upgrading from a basic soundbar or older 5.1 system, this combination is a massive jump in quality. You're getting true Atmos performance, reference-level clarity, deep cinematic bass, and a receiver that will stay relevant for years, especially as 8K and high frame rate content becomes more mainstream. And at the end of the day, the real story here is simple. Great speakers paired with a great receiver create great experiences. Klipsch brings the energy, Onkyo brings the muscle. And when the lights go down and the movie starts, you feel every ounce of the action like you're right there in the middle of it.